What the hell is going on in Miami? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. What are we doing? Seriously, what are Miami doing? I need to make a video. I need to get my feelings out there. I need to vent. Because this is really starting to... We're basically becoming the Cleveland Browns 2.0. Now, the last video I made was talking about J.J. when it comes to Miami and the fact that we traded him off to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was pretty annoyed about it. Because not only was it just handing in the towel on that season, we were getting rid of one of the best running backs in the league for a 4th round draft pick. I mean, come on. A 4th round draft pick for one of the best players that we had on our roster at the time. Let me not go down this road again because I'll just get angry again. But then the last couple of moves that we've been making have just infuriated me even more. Jarvis Landry and Ndamukong Suh are also leaving Miami. Now, the first one was Jarvis Landry. Obviously, we placed the franchise tag on him. He was not happy about the move, but it's guaranteed money for him. The Browns come in with a brilliant trade offer, to be honest. I did not see the Browns coming to get him, to be honest, but they did. And again, we are getting rid of one of our best wide receiver weapons in Jarvis Landry for a 4th round draft pick in this year and a 7th round draft pick in 2019. You just don't do that. I mean, he has been setting records since he came in Miami, and he's been productive every single time. And when you've got somebody like Jay Cutler throwing to you, you're not going to make that many yards. The offense last season was absolutely terrible. All right, we were shockingly bad. I mean, granted, we weren't much better on the defensive side of it, but offensively, we were absolutely shocking. And it was because of the offensive line and Jay Cutler. Nothing to do with Jarvis Landry. He had an amazing season last year for what he could get out of who was giving him the ball. So to go from... I mean, granted, look, I've only been following Miami for the last 3-4 years, all right? I'm new to NFL. I've got used to the rules, and this is probably the first year that I'm actually sitting down during the off-season and collecting my thoughts and understanding how the free agency works, how the draft works, moves, etc. And I'm actually sitting down and properly analysing what is going on. But you don't give up somebody like Jarvis Landry for a 4th round draft pick and a 2019 7th round draft pick. You just don't do it. That is absolutely shocking from us to get rid of somebody like Juice. Just give him the money, get him a good quarterback, and give him the money. It's not difficult. If you've got a decent quarterback who can throw to him, then he'll be able to go deep. Yes, he does the short routes and all that kind of stuff like that. Great, he picks up the yardage. But if you actually allow him to get down the field, he can do it. When you give him Jay Cutler, he can't do it. And then we move on to Suh. Now, Suh, for me, is massively underrated. Every single game, he's got 2 players marking him at all times. His production on paper does not look that great. But when you actually watch the games itself, he is so disruptive. He hassles people, he causes issues, and he allows other people to get the sacks and the tackles. I mean, granted this year he's been alright. He's been alright, but he's a leader. He is the leader of the defensive side of our game. Now, the reason why they say they're getting rid of him is because he's obviously apparently a disruption within the dressing room. The head coaches and all that kind of stuff like that. They want to be able to take full control over the dressing room. It's absolute BS. Absolute BS. It is simply to get rid of some salary space. They want to be able to go in the free agency market and try to do some wheeling and dealing and trying to get some good players that they feel fit into their regime. If the record of Mike Tannenbaum is anything to go by, I am not one bit confident about that man dragging us through. Let's be honest, people. This is now a rebuilding job for the Miami Dolphins. We are going to be Cleveland Brown. I honestly don't think we're going to... 2 wins this year. 2 wins. And that's not an over-exaggeration. It's not me just completely... Oh, look at that UK fan. What the hell does he know? Honestly, 2 wins from next year. I mean, if you look at our roster at the moment, we have got Tannehill as a quarterback. That's it. Literally nobody else at quarterback position at the moment. We've got Kenyon Drake as a running back. Now, the guy may or may not make it, but he hasn't done anything in that stand out, to be honest, at the moment. He's done okay, but he's not done anything amazing, so we need to improve that. Wide receiver position, we've got Devontae Parker and Stills, who are good players, but they work when Landry was in there as well as a free. So we now need to improve on the wide receiver position, because again, Jakeem Grant, as quick as he is, haven't seen enough of him to be able to justify why he should be a starting wide receiver. Tight ends has been a position that we've been struggling with for years. We are just absolutely shocking at tight end position, and we have not been able to fill that position. Julius Thomas experiment did not work. Bye-bye. Offensive line is our worst position in the entire roster, and that needs to be sorted out desperately. Defensive line, we're okay, but again, Suh now leaving, it creates a massive gap, and we need to sort that out. Linebackers, Kiko Alonso, he's on and off one game, but the rest of the team is not that great. And defensive backs, I mean, cornerbacks, we're getting better. They're getting better and they're getting used to our structure, but it's not great. It's just everything about our team needs improving at the moment. And to get rid of your three best players in Ajayi, Landry and Suh, it just smacks of rebuilding. It's all it is. It's simply a rebuilding job. And like I said, with Mike Tannenbaum as our general manager, I do not have one bit of faith in this guy. Let's have a look at some of the signings he's done. So I've got a list of all the things that he's done. Let's have a look at 2016, right? Mario Williams, defensive end, 2-year, $16 million contract. He got 1.5 sacks in a season, was released in February 17. Abdul Quddus, 3-year, $13 million contract, 2 interceptions, 1 sack, released in March. He's now retired. Jason Jones, defensive end, 1 year, $1.5 million contract, 2-game suspension for drug substance, released in January 17. Kiko Alonso and Byron Maxwell we got from the Eagles for our 8th and 13th round picks. 8th and 13th pick in the first round. Alonso's been on and off. Maxwell released in October 17. And then in that season, we let go of Olivier Vernon, who had a career-high tackles and 2nd All-Pro team. Rashard Matthews, wide receiver, career-high in receiving yards when he left us, and he led the Titans in receiving yards and touchdowns. Lamar Miller, season carries as a running back for Houston Texans. The list goes on and on for that year. Let's have a look at 2017 now, because this just baffles me. So 2017, which is obviously the season just gone, we bought an offensive lineman, Lawrence Timmons, who goes AWOL within the 2nd week. No one knows where he is, and he's now been released by the Dolphins. We spent $5.6 million on Ted Larson, a guard, $3.4 million on Nate Allen, $2.75 on Fasano, $1.3 million on McDonald, Fails, and Jay Cutler, £10 million on him. God, don't get me started on Cutler. The guy is about as useful as a chocolate fire guard. He is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking callback. And as one of the... Him and Thomas. What were they thinking? So if we are letting go of Suh to free up some money, to actually have some leeway in the free agency market, based on some of the signings that we have made using the free agency in the last 2 years, I do not have one bit of faith in Mike Tannenbaum. And if I'm being honest, some of the play calls that have been done over the last year, I'm starting to lose a little bit of patience with Adam Gase. Just a little bit. This year's going to be a rebuilding job. Get rid of all the big personalities in the team, and it's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks to see who we sign. It really will be. But what is so interesting about Miami Dolphins at the moment is that any conversation that comes up about free agency, comes up about the draft, quarterback situation, who's going to be doing what, no one in any media team whatsoever mentions the Miami Dolphins. And do you know why? Because we are making ourselves irrelevant. I hate the word irrelevant because on YouTube it has been far, far overused for completely the wrong reasons. But Miami are just bleh. They're just that team at the bottom no one cares about. No one cares about Miami. No one cares about what's going on here. because we are putting all of our eggs this year into one basket with Ryan Tannehill. He's our quarterback. We've got to surround him with weapons. You get rid of 2 of his best weapons, and then on the defensive side of things, when we're not actually that great anyway, instead of addressing what you could do, we allow Suh to go. And I know it's all about space, etc. But as I said, I'm losing faith. I'm losing faith. But next couple of weeks are going to be interesting. Miami fans, if anybody is a Miami Dolphins fan on my YouTube subscription, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the current situation. Do you agree with me? Am I overreacting? Do you see where the team is going? Let me know down in the comment section. Anybody who follows NFL and anybody who's interested in NFL, let me know as well. Home dressing room, I'll be dying to know your thoughts on this. You're probably going to absolutely crucify everything I say. But whatever the case, let me know down in the comment section. I will reply to every single one. I just needed to get my rant out there. Needed to get my opinions out there. Next couple of weeks are going to be interesting. Anyway, until we see each other next time, adios.